Everybody knows because it's in Derech Mitzvah. This is the shir of Yudalad Kislev, today's shir. The Gemara says, there's a pasuk that says, Miras ha'ilu chakecha b'veis magurim. The David HaMelech used to say that when he was kicked out of Eretz Yisrael, when he was having all these tzaras, b'veis magurei, when he was a stranger in a foreign land, Teda was his midas. It was him music. It gave him pleasure. And the Gemara says, David's midas kanas lahu v'chulu. That David called Teda's midas. But the Gemara says, how could you call Teda a song? And the Gemara says, David was punished for calling Teda his pleasure. Right. Yeah. So the shaila becomes, what's the big deal to call Teda pleasure? So the Alter Rebbe says, Hine. Bezeyar, it says, Zeyar, Shvacha, De Raiso, Renona, V'chuli. The praise of the Teda and the song of the Teda and so forth. Olahavin. And the question, the Teda is I'm sorry. I think it means the praise of the Eibishter. The Teda is the praise of the Eibishter. Olahavin, the question is, Ma'u Ashvach LaKadosh Baruch Hu. How is the praise to Hashem? If something is asar mutter. The answer is, it's based on the idea of Magod L'Masachad Hashem, how great is the Eibishter's actions in creating the world, but the thoughts of the Eibishter are even deeper. And this means, it's known. All of the worlds, the higher worlds and the lower worlds, they depend on the nuances of one commandment by way of analogy. Okay, all of the worlds are hanging on one diktuk, one mitzvah. For example, if the carbon is kosher, it creates a union on high, and all the worlds ascend to get their life and their flow. If a person makes the smallest change, such as he took the blood in his left hand, for example, or not with a kosher klishad, do some kind of a chatzitza, then it's all nothing. The elements don't go up. And their life and their flow from the source of all living things, which is the Eibishter, is cut off. If it's kosher, it's perfect. If it's not kosher, it's nothing. And what's the difference? A hair, a shoestring. Same is true with film. That if they're shady, they're kosher at film, Mizgal Mechal Yerim the Zun reveals Mechal Yerim in Zanuk for Vatzilus. Very high Gilui. Sheimakar Achayim the Chol which is the source of life for all the worlds. However, Obediktok Echad Nefsalin. One little thing wrong with the film, and nothing happens. Umistalken HaMeichin, and all those Meichin go away. Ukai Gavna B'dikdukim Mitzvahs Leisa said this is true of all of the Dikdukim of Mitzvahs Leisa said. You do one drop little thing wrong, and it's all bottle. And therefore, Hamizbain, think about this. Hashem. Think about how great the Eibishter's world is, right? There's so many worlds and so many things in those worlds. It's an unbelievable creation. Yet, they're all insignificant in their form, compared to one nuance. From the nuances of the Torah, which is the depth of Hashem's thought, and Hashem's wisdom. If one nuance is correct, all the worlds ascend and receive life and flow. And if that nuance is off, all bets are off. Says the Alter Rebbe, this allows us to contemplate Gedulas Emek Machshavti Yisbarach, the greatness and the depth of the Eibishter's thought, Kfayachol, Shubabchinas Blikvol V'Tachlis, his thought is infinite, and its step is infinitely more beyond an end and beyond V'Tachlis, beyond the purpose. Al Mailas Chayes Kol Elam over the level of the life of all of the worlds. V'Haraya Shekol Chayesam, all the life of all the worlds. Sheifeya flows Midiktuk Echad Mena from one nuance in the Torah. Which comes down from its source. And what is its source? Who Eimek Machshavta Yizvarech, which is the depth of Hashem's thought. So David HaMelech is saying, look how deep the Torah is. One drop of Torah is more powerful than the whole creation. And each halacha comes down, like the hair of a person, or shara of the hair of a person. Hanimshach l'meichal derech Moshe, it comes from the person's brain. Or keredim atikunim v'dirab, like it doesn't say it in an idirab. That what? That the hairs are like halachas that come from the brain, which is the body of the Torah. Each one of those little hairs is bigger than the whole creation. Says the Alter Rebbe, and that's why David HaMelech had so much joy from learning Torah. He was singing and he was praising and singing. To bring joy into his heart, basically when he did Torah, based on during his tzaddis. So he said, how great the Torah is, it makes him feel so good. Now, in the Maimorim, which are based on this, you have it in Derech Mitzvah, you have it in Lekut Torah, you have it in Masa Adam HaKosef. It's the same Maimon Mamish. You have it in Hemshchaim Beis and so forth. They add another kvetch. That the word Zmira is Meloshin Lezamer Aritzim. To prune, to cut off negative. And they translate what means Zmira is Ha'eluchecha Beis Megura. That when David HaMelech learned Torah, his enemies were cut off. In other words, it wasn't just that it gave him pleasure, it actually conquered and defeated his enemies. So David learned Torah, and his enemies died. Talk about the Kazakh, right? And then we're going to learn tomorrow, Mr. Shem, that David was punished for using the Torah in this way.